Our next speaker, Pat Sampson. Pat began her career in technology as a marketing representative for IBM and continues to blend that sales experience with marketing, product management, sales operation, and all different types of project management disciplines, as well as now in networking. Pat's first exposure to formal networking began in the late 80s as a network member, followed by leadership roles in a professional business women's network, as well as in the MIS Network Associates, MMA, a career management forum for IT professionals. Pat continues to participate in M&A, as well as in the Association of Women in Computing, Marketing Executive Networking Group, New Jersey chapter of Project Management Institute, the Breakfast Club of New Jersey. In addition, Pat serves as co-chair of Metco's Women in Technology, where she is the project manager for Metco Health Solutions in Franklin Lakes. Pat received her undergraduate degree in marketing and management from Montclair State University and her MBA from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Pat's speech, Networking for Life.
Hi everyone. First I want to start by thanking you all for being here and for this great opportunity. It's a real privilege to be here tonight. You already know that many of us know one another from different career management groups, job search groups. Some of them are quite structured, formal, not black tie, but agendas and meetings and whatnot. And as Alex said, some of them can be frightening. You know, to have to walk into a group and give your elevator pitch. But what I'd like to talk about, my facet, so to speak, is not all about those job search groups, but to talk about the good that does come from giving, because I've experienced quite a bit of that. So basically, what happens when you connect through organizations such as that? So networking for life. Sue mentioned your opportunity that came through networking, and Ruth, your son's opportunity. How many in this room got jobs? And I'm not talking about your CEO spots. I'm just talking about your you or your children's part-time or full-time high school or college jobs through someone or through someone who knew someone. Anybody? Yeah. Okay. I looked back as I was coming here and I realized that my first half dozen part-time or full-time jobs were through either friends of mine in those organizations or through relatives. Thanks, Dad. From the corner dry cleaners all the way through my first job out of college, which my market research professor, who was a product manager by day, hired me. I was probably well into my 20s before I realized that you actually had to apply for jobs. Who knew? But that's what I mean by networking for life. Some other networking experiences. As Rod mentioned in my introduction, my first formal networking group exposure was in a professional women's network, professional business women's network. And there I met a mix of women, some corporate, some business owners, some women in practices, doctors, lawyers, and whatnot. The network had been started in the late 70s by a gang of about a dozen women who were the firsts in their field. So the first lawyer in a firm, the first director of a Chamber of Commerce or a foundation, and in those days, they really needed the support that they provided one another. Real trailblazers. Well, this particular gang grew by an order of magnitude, and it was a real privilege for me to assume a leadership spot in that network, initially as a membership chair, and then on their board, and then as their president. But I also want to say, in addition to that privilege, I still have the best plumber, the best painter, the best wallpaperer. So before there was Angie's List, it was our network. And I'm sure that painter and wallpaper and plumber agree about the benefit of networking for life. Made some dear friends too. There was a gal on one of my committees who, as we got toward the summer months, said, if this committee is going to continue and we're going to meet, we better think about meeting on weeknights, because I'm committed on weekends. Okay. So, I asked a little bit about what that commitment was. It turned out to be a summer shore house. Yeah. Well, the following summer, there was an extra share open, and we've been enjoying that summer house for a really, really long time. But by the way, she also shared with us her accountant, her insurance broker, her attorney, and they probably also agree about the benefit of networking for life. Let me tell you about one additional networking experience, and this one was really special. Back in the 90s, I was in a job search, and I spoke with a CIO friend of mine who suggested that I go to a network organization up in Ridgewood, an IT group, MIS Network Associates. And he very specifically said, you really ought to meet the facilitator of that network. I did, and I was amazed by this man who just gave of himself to get people connected in jobs. Ruth talked about volunteering. I actually did volunteer my time at that network because I had had a particular good experience building memberships. And so I volunteered to do that for this group. The long and the short of it was that that man, who was a really true master networker, had a saying. And the saying was, you never know where the next one is coming from. Well, all that time, I thought he was talking about jobs. However, that man is John Sampson, who many of you know as the other Sampson. He's still facilitating that network 20 years later. But actually last fall he and I celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary. So the truth is, you never know where the next one's coming from, and networking for life is just the best thing in the world.
Never know. Never know. Thank you so much.